Welcome everyone to another episode of Women Like Me, Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and I am here today with one of our fantastic writers in our writing group. She's just recently written in our newest book, which is When Life Breaks You Open, Moments That Change Everything. And I just love that because I think it is the moments. It's those little moments that sometimes there's big moments, but there's a lot of little moments that can help us to shift our mindsets and help us change everything. So Nancy Beaulieu is here, and she's written in other of our books as well, but she's written in this book, and her chapter is Health and Wellness Life Lessons, when life lessons take you from apprentice to mentor. So it's a very, very good and very interesting story when you read it. I just want to let everybody know that this is a brand new book, so I don't have a cover to show you. It's not even out yet. Our plan, fingers crossed, is to release it next Friday, which is November 29th, 2024. So if you were watching this video after November 29th, 2024, the book's out. So go buy it and read Nancy's story. So welcome, Nancy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Why don't we start off by you telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Fancy Nancy. I am a psychic medium. I'm a health and wellness influencer. I'm a mom to two neurodivergent kids. I'm a wife, and I've just recently started working out of Edge Nutrition in Chilliwack. I'm all about wellness in every possible way. And so my journey in the book, when you read about that, you might see why I am who I am today.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you, Nancy. I want to start off, Nancy, with a little bit about your story. Um, so right in the beginning of your story, you have a little blurb. I'm going to read it. It says, "In the second decade of life, I lived in Kamloops." So we're talking in British Columbia, Canada, if anybody doesn't know where these places are. So in the second decade of my life, I lived in Kamloops. My parents had divorced, and my dad and brother remained in Chilliwack, while my sister, mother, and I had a new home 3 hours away. Things began to change for me. I ended up with mononucleosis and was very sick for 2 months. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what was happening to you there? Because I think were you around 10 years old at that time?
Yeah, somewhere between the ages of 10 and 15, but I think closer to 10. It's quite a really difficult illness. You get all of the glands swollen, the tonsils are swollen. There's glands in our armpits, there's glands under your legs, they're just everywhere. And like every single one in your body is like swollen and inflamed. You feel extremely tired. Like the only thing, I've never had COVID, but maybe I'd compare it to COVID tired. Your muscles ache everywhere. Like the swelling in your throat is so painful that you're not able to eat. So I was not taking in much at all, just barely fluids, and that was painful. I remember every swallow being painful. And I was just couch bound and looking pale, very skinny and weak, and just out of school, just laying there, just existing and wondering when it was going to end.
Oh, I know because you say when you do say in your story what a relief it was to not to die.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think through several of what happened to you after 10, you thought you were going to die a few times.
yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think happened, Nancy? Because from your story, you were pretty healthy. You didn't have that many issues. And then 10 years old hit, and you did move to a different area. And then you started just seemed to you like you had back-to-back uh, medical issues, health issues, from
Yeah.
asthma to all sorts of things going on.
Well, I feel like it could be two things. Stress because there was a divorce and a move and all of that, and adjusting to a new place and bullies around, all that kind of stuff. So
Mm.
stress will definitely be detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
And then not this is not a popular opinion. Not everyone agrees, but I actually do feel like vaccines cause damage. And it was a grade 6 MMR, and then my health deteriorated after that.
I guess it could be, um, for sure. I mean, whatever your immune system's doing, and then to have something foreign put into your body, it certainly could, because you had a lot of illnesses.
Yeah.
Like, wow. One of the most scariest ones that I remember when I was reading your story, and I'm going to read this little bit. I'm not going to keep reading, but I think this is the last one I'm going to read, because I really think for anybody that is a parent, how terrifying it is, and even to be a young child, or a young teen, even, quite scary. So you said everything went black, and I felt weak. I thought I reached for the couch to sit back down, but Mom said I was like a dead weight, and I collapsed unexpectedly. My head hit the wall, and it hit it hard. And I was lying on the floor, paralyzed. I could hear my mom screaming in fear, trying to get a response from me as I lay there trying to move my mouth, my hands, my arms, my anything, but nothing worked. Like,
Mhm.
how terrifying. So what can you tell us a little bit about what happened there? I think that was, to me, when I read your story, that was the most scariest event.
Yeah, I mean, it all happened so fast. You don't even really have a moment to like analyze what's going on. And just so much confusion was set in too. And they diagnosed me with postural hypotension. And so it's kind of when you're sitting, like especially if you're like cross-legged and you get up really quickly, your blood pressure drops rapidly. And so you stand up and your eyes are open, but they go blank. You can't see out of them. And then your body, if you don't grab onto something and hold on, or sit down, which you probably want to do slowly, then you can faint. And so this is something I've lived with my whole life. And I do typically eat like smaller, more frequent meals, like run to the cupboard for a little bit of dark chocolate and keep my blood sugar levels up. I'm not diagnosed with like diabetes or anything, but I guess it could be something similar. There's no seizures for me with this,
Mm.
and only most of the population has high blood pressure, and
Yes.
then there's a lot that have normal. So I also have to be careful with certain supplements because there's a lot of things like lion's manes and other supplements out there that lower your blood pressure, and I
Mhm.
can't take that because it will make me dizzy.
So when you fainted, then is that why you just like you were, so when you faint, because I personally have never fainted. So when
Okay.
you faint, are you kind of you're not, obviously not conscious because you fainted,
Yeah.
but is that like when you were coming to, that you felt you couldn't speak, you couldn't move, you were just
So I think the moment that I hit my head, I wasn't conscious. Like
right?
I didn't know that that really happened, and then I just remember like laying there and coming to, and yeah, and just being extremely confused about what was happening. Like I just thought I was going to sit down, and next thing you know, I'm laying there
Wow.
like in paralysis and just so confused. And yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know how long it was going to last. I just remained hopeful that if I keep trying, something's going to happen. My body's going to move. I'm going to snap out of it. So I
Yeah.
just did not give up.
Yeah. Wow. How terrifying. Really
Yeah.
scary. Yeah. And so what was your age approximately at that time?
Um, Probably between 10 and 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So when people read the book, of course, they can find out all the other information, but when did you start to I don't want to say get better, but start to take control of your health? Let me put it that way.
Okay. Well, I've definitely always been interested and pretty mindful. I was working at a deli before I had my daughter, and um and I started to notice I felt off, and then I started thinking like, could it be the birth control pills I'm on? And so I started looking into that and seeing all the side effects. And then I started researching vaccines. And then I started reaching everything that comes from Western medicine and realizing that there was way better alternative ways, like more natural, holistic. And so that's the direction I went. And I was introduced to some audios, CDs called Your Wish is Your Command. And there's 14 CDs, like 14 hours of listening. And CD8 was all about natural health. And it talked about EMFs, and it talked about parasite cleanses. It talked about detoxing your body in every way, and like the law of attraction and just everything. So I got a lot of great guidance when I listened to that. And then I've been on that natural holistic path like ever since 2011, even before
Yeah,
that a little bit, but
yeah,
really strongly then.
yeah, yeah. I think that yeah, there's certainly medicines and treatments that everybody needs, but I'm with you. I think that a lot of the holistic stuff can be extremely helpful to us. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think we get so caught up in the whole Western medical system, which again, I'm not saying anything bad about it because of course they save lives all the
Yeah.
time. But I think for everyday health,
Hmm.
every day, how you're feeling to get more energy and all of those kinds of things. I think definitely looking more holistic is a definitely a better place to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I think
sure.
we need to exhaust everything natural and holistic first before even thinking of drugs and surgery and other things. But yes, surgeries can save your life. Both my kids were C-sections. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So let me ask you a little bit more about your journey. So or can you tell me, so what do you think the most pivotal moment was that sort of shaped your transformation?
Definitely 2021 when I was carrying around extra weight after being a mom. A little bit before that, in 2021, I dropped 80 pounds after doing a gut reset. And
80 pounds.
yeah, and I wasn't a big drinker, but I did, drink on weekends occasionally, eat the pizza and eat the terrible foods that went along with drinking. And 2021, I gave up alcohol for good. I haven't drank in a sip ever since. So that clarity in my mind and the ability to develop my intuition and to just follow, my inner voice and know what's best for me, that 2021 was very pivotal for me. That was a huge change in my life.
Wow. Wow. That is, yeah, for sure. Well, good for you because yeah, to have that clarity of mind is certainly important. So, do you think that so what was there a specific life lesson or experience? I guess the experience would be losing the weight, but what was the lesson there that you might have learned?
Well, it came with like what kind of launched it was because after the gut reset, which I lost 20 pounds in, then I thought, oh, I'm gonna have some drinks and have some pizza and reward myself for that weight loss. And like I've been deprived of all this yummy food. And
Yeah.
then my body was like, here's a bile duct stone. Deal with that without a gallbladder. So
Oh,
so then I got really sick. I got jaundice for 3 days. Like you can get cirrhosis, which is like a scarring of the liver. So when your bile is flushing back up and hitting the liver, it's causing it to be inflamed and get really sick. So it was at that point when I had another option of surgery. The doctor said they wanted to cut a flap in my bile duct so the bile would be free flowing, and then I could continue on just eating like everybody typically eats.
yeah.
And I thought, no, I don't want any more surgery. So I decided to eat low fat ever since. I do consume like dark chocolate and nuts and avocado, but in very small quantities and spread throughout the day, not too much at once. So
Yes.
I ate low fat for the rest of my life. Just like I gave up alcohol, I have not turned back. I don't eat really high fat. I don't eat red meat because most of it's high fat.
Yeah.
And I have it was like a point where no return. Like I'm not going to be a dieter again. I'm not going to be yo-yoing around. I'm not going to be making those mistakes and regretting them, because I saw how sick I got in those 3 days where I was fevering and like jaundice and everything. And so that was a point where it's like, okay, I have to be good all the time. And this is my life going forward. There's no going back to the old ways at all. So
For
that's where I've been.
you. That, that's what it takes. It takes that I used to smoke many years ago, but I remember when I quit, I tried 3 times, and the third time, excuse me, was when I said, "No, I'm not gonna start again. This is
Hmm.
it. I'm quitting. I'm done." And I think so much of what happens with this is you have to make that confirm that decision in your mind. And
Yeah.
once you do that, you're 50% there.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
sometimes our body has to help us along, like
Yes. Oh,
almost give us no choice. And I can relate. I smoked in the past too when I was young and teens and stuff. And I remember getting a lung infection for 3 weeks. And then I was like, this is stupid. I'm suffering so much. I'm never going to smoke again. And so I
yeah.
quit too. But it's almost like if you're not ready to make the decision on your own, the universe is like, here, we're going to give you the decisions being made for you.
I believe that. I 100% believe that. So let's switch a little bit in your story. I'm curious, when did you first realize that you had psychic abilities? When was that all happening?
So it started in 2021, the same year that
Okay.
I lost all the weight. Um, I I was very curious. Actually, I saw a post on Instagram that said karma, like you reap what you sow, and
Mhm.
I think that's when I was going through some of the bile duct problems, and I thought, like, what? Why am I suffering right now? Is this like karma? Like, is this something I've done? And so then I got this numerology reading from this lady whose post it was, and it was really eye-opening. And it said I could develop mediumship skills, and it said all these special talents and abilities that I have within me that could be developed and where I could go with it. And I showed it to a friend one day, and this friend had tarot cards, and she did a reading for me. And then she was like, "You should get tarot cards." And then I was like, "Yeah, I think I will." So I did, and then that really helped develop my intuition, the tarot cards. And a pack of tarot cards is like having a life coach in your back pocket because there's so much guidance, and it really corrects your thinking. It corrects just decision making and like doing things for your highest and best. All of that comes in a tarot deck. But then, yeah, I started taking intuitive classes and working on developing my intuition and not just like looking at the cards and then looking in the book for an answer. I decided to just like close my eyes, leave the cards turned over where I couldn't see them, and start listening for answers and connecting to spirit guides and angels and all that stuff. So I really developed it after I bought a tarot deck and started reading and getting educated.
Good for you. Well, it's really all about just silent, like you said, listening.
Mm-hmm.
Listening for the downloads, listening for what the universe is trying to tell you out there,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So do you then, so when you're doing psychic readings, do you focus on like are you focusing on the health industry? Like are you focusing on people's health, or like what do you do? So if I wanted to come for a reading, um,
Mm-hmm.
do you ask me questions about what I want to know, or are you focusing a lot on health? I'm just curious if the health and wellness comes through.
So it comes through, I would say, in every single reading. But I ask people like, what's on your mind? What are your challenges? Is it career? Is it relationship? Is it health? Is it personal growth? Is it your spirituality? Like, what is it that you feel like you need more clarity on and direction?
Yeah.
And then the guidance, everything is illuminated in the cards and messages that come through. And people will be like, wow, that like resonates so much with me. It's insane. And the direction I give them is always for their highest and best. So if it's not like physical, like they haven't asked a health question about their body, it's really going to be a lot of mind and soul wellness
Mm.
because health is mind, body, and soul. So, like if they're talking about their career, like how does their career make them feel? Are they in alignment with what is in their best interest? Does it feel like soul crushing or does it light them up? Like I'm going to direct them in the way that is for their best, and that's going to be like mind and soul wellness for them.
That, yeah, when you just said that, I got it. That makes complete sense because if we're mentally not well or under a lot of stress or whatever is going on, it comes out physically.
Mhm.
It's got to come out somewhere in the body,
Yeah.
whether that's you're constantly getting flus or colds
Yeah.
or yeah, no, that makes complete sense. Complete sense. So so what inspired you around mental health? Because I know mental health is very, uh, being a mental health advocacy is important to you. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you feel about or what brought you towards helping people with their mental health?
Yes. So in a previous podcast we did, I talked a bit about my sister and my kids. My kids are neurodivergent, they're ADHD, and they have sensory processing and a few other things. And my sister was too, but she was undiagnosed, and so she's no longer with us.
Hmm.
And so the loss of her also launched me more into the mediumship, but it launched me very strongly into mental health, wanting to learn about the differences in a neurotypical mind and a neurodivergent mind, and how we can look after that wellness and support others in their wellness. And yeah, so I just started studying like a lot of that, like the sensory processing disorder, the ADHD. I haven't studied autism too much because it's not my in my personal situation, but I do feel like I want to study that just
Yes,
so I can understand people out there and help them too.
yes,
I do get clients often that are ADHD, and so when I can kind of understand how their brain works, and have like I don't want to put expectations on people, but if I'm giving them guidance or advice, then I might need to tailor it for somebody a little differently. Sorry, the sun is getting in my face.
that's
I
okay.
might need to tailor it a little differently if they have ADHD, if their brain works differently,
Right.
because they might feel like it's too much or not the right direction for them. And I want them to come away from a reading feeling empowered and excited and moving forward. I don't want them to feel like burdened or stressed or anything. Like I,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
here to pick people up and not bring them down. So the more I know about mental health and wellness, the better I can serve others in this world.
Yes, perfect. So let's switch a little bit again because I'm really curious. How did you get the name Fancy Nancy?
Well, my uncle, he really is passionate about health and wellness too.
Uh,
But when I was a little kid, I did not wear plain pants. Like it wasn't solid colors. There was like Snow White on my pants, or they're bright and colorful. There was all the stuff. He called me Fancy Pants Nance.
oh, that's cute.
So that was my childhood nickname. And I love fancy clothes, maybe not the pants. I'm more into dresses now.
Yeah.
But when I started a photography business in 2011, I was thinking of a name. So I chose Fancy Nancy Photography Chilliwack. And then I moved into doing influencing. So I chose Influenced by Fancy Nancy. And then for my psychic medium readings, it's Fancy Nancy's psychic and medium reading. So I just keep the Fancy Nancy all the way through with all my businesses. And when I meet new people and sometimes it's hard to remember someone's name right off the bat. As soon as I throw out the Fancy Nancy, everybody remembers.
Of
So,
course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It's like your tagline almost.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. So tell us a little bit about your influencing. I think I find that quite intriguing, and I follow you on social media. I see where you are all the time, and yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What's that all about?
Okay, so just like a celebrity would do an endorsement, they get hired by a brand to speak good words about the brand. It's a little different for them. They might have a script and there's a lofty paycheck in it. But when you're an influencer, you're typically wanted to give like your honest opinion and kind of like you're testing the product out and you're letting people know authentically your experience. Like you want to, if it's no good, then you don't want to recommend it. Now you have to be delicate with the brand and choose your wording very kindly because like that would just be cruel to bash them. But you want to find a way to be very honest with your followers and make sure that you're always putting out honest words that are for the highest and best of everyone. Now, I do pre-screen a lot of the brands that I work with. When someone messages me, I'm looking at their page. I'm looking if does it have natural ingredients? Is it toxic? Is it, for the highest and best of all my followers? Because I care and I don't want anyone to be suffering because I recommended something terrible. So I pre-screen a lot of that out before I even accept any offers from any brands. And when I go seeking stuff, I'm seeking really great stuff too. So if I'm posting it on my page, I most likely already have checked it out and feel very strongly that it is a good product. But yeah, the odd time you can get something and be a little disappointed, and then you're just cautious with that. But I would never say like, yeah, get this, like
Yeah. Yeah.
if it wasn't good.
No,
So
for sure, for sure. And I mean, at the end of the day, if I guess, if you like it, but it's not your fave, but somebody else might, I guess that's the things we have to be careful not to be overly negative about things because just
mhm.
because we don't like it doesn't mean somebody else might not like it, as long
Yeah,
as it's not going to harm them or hurt them in any way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
I uh I posted about health and wellness for the 5 years that I've been influencing, but it started with a lot of like vitamins and supplements and maybe a bit of weight loss stuff. And then it really moved into mind and soul wellness, a lot of metaphysical and crystals and oils and self-care and a lot of that. And now it's funny because I'm coming back around to nutrition again, especially working at Edge Nutrition. I'm filling my body with all the goods and all the supplements. And I love all the online tests out there. There's hair analysis, there's urine analysis test. You can see where you're at. And, I was depleted in magnesium recently. So now I'm taking all kinds of magnesium. And it's just amazing the products that are out there to get us where we need to be. And we don't have to have a doctor visit to do it. A lot of times,
Right.
just what's there online and the resources that we can purchase on our own are really beneficial.
It's great. Absolutely. I took a little tiny bit off topic, but still on topic. I recently took now I don't I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head. I can't remember, but it was where you put these headphones on and you listen to this to these different vibrations and it actually reads your body and then gives you a report. Now, I took it because I do a lot of this stuff because I think it's fun and interesting, and so I do it. But it told me illnesses that I had when I was a kid,
Yeah, that's
and
incredible.
it was crazy. And then it told me some stuff that was going on with my body as an adult, which I knew about. And then I, put it out to the world. I only have one kidney. It told me I only have one kidney. Like it was
Mhm.
the weirdest thing. And it was just this vibrational. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh, well, this will be fun to see kind of what it says, right? And then I just was like blown away, blown away, blown away. I was shocked. Have you heard about this thing?
So I know there's capabilities out there. I'm a very techie girl. I'm an Aquarius, so I love everything techie. I've taken like Healy tests and I've taken the hair analysis, and they can discover a lot of that too. But that particular test that you've done, I'm not sure that I've tried that, so you definitely got to tell me because I want to get on that. I'm excited
Okay,
about that.
I'll let you know. And it was interesting because the girl, the friend, it's a friend of mine, an associate that's doing it. There's now she's actually had naturopaths who are now using this. So when they get a client, they do this, and then they're able to do some reading. But when it picked up some of the illnesses I had when I was in younger years, that
Yeah,
blew me away. And so I guess, and so here's the other thing now. We're off track a little bit, but here's the thing. It's all about health and wellness.
yeah,
What I thought was amazing was obviously I still have some of that in my body. I
yeah,
wouldn't have picked it up, which scared
yeah,
me a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
like not
but
good
it
stuff. Yeah.
it can empower you to work on those things and heal that. And
Absolutely. To
yeah,
and just and knowledge, right? To know, okay, now I know that it's still in my body. The last thing I want to do is reactivate it or whatever it is. But I just thought this is so interesting that I've had that. Oh, the other thing it picked up. Oh, I got to tell you this because it's about vaccines. So when I went to Kenya, which was in 2011, I had all the vaccines that you could get because I did not want malaria or any of that other stuff going on. So I went in and I actually got all those vaccines, yellow fever, everything.
yeah,
It knew I had those vaccines.
yeah. Was it take
It said you've had this vaccine, that it like knew it was so weird. Anyway,
that's
and
amazing.
everybody emailing me, where do I get this test done? But it was I was just amazed. I was just amazed. And so I still have the report and so I read it and from time to time and but I take these things with a grain of salt. I take out what I want, what I like and what I think I can use, and the rest of it I just, whatever, it doesn't work for me. But again, as you were saying, in these holistic ways, is it all these little things, like you were saying about the hair analysis, the urine analysis. There's so many things and so many ways out there these days that we can find out what we need for our bodies.
Yeah, I'm on another journey here that's quite new for me. Now, I've seen a chiropractor before. I've had a couple little neck issues in the past. I think I've only seen that chiropractor maybe twice for it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like mostly fixed. And, chiropractors say, come again, you need to keep coming and like get the treatments. And most people think, oh, I'm not going to put the money on that. If I feel good, I'm good. And really, you should keep going because just like we have muscle memory, our body has a memory of being out and it kind of wants to go back to that until you've retrained it. And so at my new job at Edge Nutrition, this lady came in and she was working out of a place called Kari Chiropractic. And she was saying that these chiropractors get trained in New Zealand and they have advanced testing. And I was like, they're all about correcting your nervous system. And with all the studying I've done in mental health, like your nervous system is in charge of so much. It's so important and crucial for your overall wellness. And I was like, wow, advanced testing. I got to see this. I got to get in there. And actually, I had a little bike incident where I fell off and I felt like my hip was out. So when she came in, it was divine timing. I knew I had to go there.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I went in and they have these like this thing with like rollers and it goes on either side of your spine and they put it down your back and it's detecting temperature and energy and all kinds of things. So you're not just getting like an x-ray, you're getting a full like multiple different scans. Plus you're having the chiropractor look you over, touch your back, get you to move in all these different ways. They do like multiple different types of tests that have never been done on me before at another chiropractor. And I was very intrigued and excited about it. And I learned I wasn't just out in my hip. I was still out in the neck, the area that I never fixed. I
Yeah.
was out in another couple spots. One part in my back, they said I've been out so long, the muscle became fatigued and decided to shut down and stop working. So there's actually a section in my back where I have a muscle on one side working, but the other side was not. And so I'm actually quite out of alignment. And I've been for four adjustments now. They did say come in twice a week for 6 weeks and then after that lessen it. But just for my budget and what works for my schedule, I'm going kind of like once a week or once every 10 days or so. I'm feeling a lot better already, but it's insane how much your spine and your nervous system control all the other parts of your body. It controls your gut health, it controls your like mental health, it controls organ health. Everything is all connected. So if
Yeah.
your spine is not in alignment, you could have all these other health problems going on. And I'm lucky I don't have more health problems going on based on how my spine's been out of alignment.
Yes.
But yeah, so I am working on that. So I'm getting fully adjusted. I'm going to keep going into the new year, keep getting these adjustments, and then they'll retest me and see where my spine's at.
Yeah.
And the exciting thing is, like, once I've got my stuff all dealt with, I'm going to bring my kids in there because there's so much of that that can help with ADHD and OCD and all these other sensory processing issues. Like, when my kids are going to be well adjusted, they're going to be able to cope and handle life so much better.
Oh my goodness. Well, I would tell you, Nancy, I am motivated. Our conversation has really motivated me to check a few other things out. I think that's fabulous. And there's, as we said, there's so many things. So you people out there, if you are feeling sick or mentally down or any of those, anything, you're just no energy, go and get yourself checked. And it doesn't necessarily mean, you could go to your doctor, of course. But there's other avenues to check
Mhm.
out as well. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it excites me because um, yeah, I'm curious about getting my spine read.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that you're going to be able to get your kids to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to teach them full wellness and how to take care of themselves and look after. Like,
yeah.
and another thing too, where if you're neurodivergent, you're a little bit not on top of the same skills for self-regulation and problem solving and stuff like that. And so the Chilliwack has youth therapy. It goes from, they said ages 12 to 25, free therapy.
Wow.
And but they'll actually take kids as young as 10. And so my daughter goes in there and loves it. And it's, giving her the coping skills and strategies and tools to like take care of her emotional wellness and well-being. And I'm just so proud of her and glad that she just loves it. Like she's happy and excited to go each
Yeah.
week. And so, yeah, you can get to it out of Chilliwack High School. There's a center in there, and then it's also in Stolo Nation as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something to look into. It's like a youth. I can't remember the exact name, but that's so important for your wellness too.
Oh, for sure. And to help kids before they get to where we are. And then we as adults wake up and go, oh, gee, I've been messed up for a lot of years. But now they're getting that health growth, that mental health growth when we all should, when we're children and before we get to that stage where we start to run amok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, Nancy, I have just enjoyed our conversation, and I appreciate you so much because Nancy has written in many of our books.
I'll
She
show you. I have them here.
perfect.
We
Oh,
started with let's see if it's going to show up with my backdrop here.
okay, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's this one here and this one here. Oh, let's
Oh,
get that on
yeah.
camera.
That was one of our. Actually, do I
There,
have it here? Here we go. I
there
have
we
it.
go. I got it now.
Oh, you got it showing up there. That's the most recent one.
Yeah,
And you should check out some of the books because Nancy has written, she talks a lot about health, a lot about wellness, a lot about spirituality, and she gives a lot of tips. You give a lot of tips about how people can be better and do better and help to change their lives and just those little tiny tweaks that sometimes that's all we need to make. So I appreciate you doing that for sure. And in this book, she has written her story, and so it is really good. So if any of you are interested, the book, as I said, will be out November 29th, 2024. I'm saying that because because I don't know when anybody's when people are still seeing the video, but and they are available on Amazon is usually the places there. So now, Nancy, do you want to say any last words for our listeners or anybody watching us? Any
um,
last words of
uh,
advice?
yeah, I would say take an interest in yourself. Be obsessed with personal growth and loving yourself, and take care of your wellness, mind, body, and soul. And if you don't love yourself already, you will when you take that interest and start diving into it. And then when you love yourself, your ability to love everyone around you is just so much greater. You'll shine as a bright light. You will help awaken others to their healing, and you'll just make the world a more beautiful place. So love yourself.
Oh, Nancy, it almost brought me teary-eyed. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're
Well,
welcome.
everybody, I hate to go, but But our time is up. So thank you again, Nancy, for being here. And thank all of you for taking the time to watch on YouTube or to listen to our podcast. And we will see you again soon. Take care, everybody.